Morning guys, welcome to another episode of Salty Veins Fishing. Today I'm going to run you through my setup, the tinny that I fish out of. It's a 4.2 metre, I believe it's a stacer, but I'm not 100% certain. There's no stickers and there's nothing on the rego papers to say what it is. I picked this little beast up for $3 and she's a little weapon. So I'll show you a few mods that I've done to make it easier to use and much more fisher friendly. So we'll start at the front of the boat. Up here I fitted the alley bows bit and I've made it so that I can lock my sand anchor in. So if you check this out, just ground a little hole through the front of the anchor. That just keeps the anchor up at the front and stored up nicely. Got a little mat here just to stop the chain from the anchor smashing on the hull and making a lot of noise. Then I fitted a anchor well. I've currently been using my reef anchor, so I'm trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to be able to mount this. I'm thinking about adding a handrail here and fitting just a PVC tube to slide that in so it's up out of the way and away from the rope. Then further from that, got a couple of rod holders up the front. The old classic fold down cup holder, hold your beers. I've extended the fuel line and I moved the fuel tank from the back left hand corner up the front to get as much weight up the front as possible. And then the esky itself turns sideways. And that becomes the front bench seat, allowing Nikki to sit up here or anyone else take out the boat up the front. Keeps them comfortable and keeps the boat distributed nicely. Bit of safety gear up the front. I've got the first aid kit, EPIRB, flares, life jackets. So that's the front. Then we've got a couple of rod holders that I've fitted. This just allows me to store my rods horizontally in the boat, keeping them out of the way, keeping all this deck area here nice and clear. I'm running the Lowrance Hook 5X HDI, and I'm going to tell you now, this is a piece of shit. I didn't buy it, it came with the boat, and I'm going to upgrade very shortly. Now the reason I say it's a piece of shit is I'll show you. So, the Hook 5, can I turn it on? Oh, there we go. It's just batteries. There we go. So, screen brightness back up. So this has the ability to run the 200 hertz down. It's got a, what are these called? The bloody scopes that no one ever uses. And then it's got down scan as well. So the down scan in it's pretty average. I've tried it a few times. I'm not overly impressed with this. And then this is your GPS. So it's literally just a chart plotter. So it's just a white screen and you get your little boat in the middle and it just follows your track essentially. You can put waypoints in obviously and then travel to them, but there is no ability to actually add a chart to this. So to me, it is a pointless piece of equipment. It does a semi-decent job of sounding just with a standard sonar, as long as you're not moving quickly. Anything under 6 knots, it'll read okay, up to about 20 meters. After that, you just lose bottom way too regularly. So, all in all, for the price you pay for this, it really is not worth buying, in my opinion. So, I'm going to upgrade to maybe a Garmin 5-inch. With the Eco Map, they come with a chart in them. But yeah, so that's going to be upgraded very shortly. Got the old captain seat, somewhere for me to sit and be comfortable. That's mounted, and it does slide so I can adjust the seat sideways if I want to position the weight of the boat. I've got the battery down the back here in the box so I can isolate it, and then runs the sounder, runs a bilge pump if I need to bilge, and then the nav lights. I'm going to install some LED rope lights around the inside of the boat just for admitting a lot of light at night time, to do quite a bit of nighttime fishing. And then I've got to buy a new anchor light as well, because that one, I had a stick on one and it didn't stick on, let's just put it that way. Watch that one sink to the bottom of the ocean. There was a couple of real crappy rod holders here that someone had fitted and they drilled all sorts of holes. So I've done a pretty bodge sort of patch on that. but I fitted a couple of straight up and down rod holders for now. That's going to allow me to fit the 3-in-1 stainless or alley rod holders, so I can then get my rods on a much better angle for fishing rather than being up in the air, which I don't like fishing for snapper, having my rods up in the air. Seems to minimise the amount of bites that are successful because the rods just load up a lot differently versus being flat or horizontal to the water, such as the Berkeley one that I have on the left hand side of the boat. I've also mounted the other mounting bracket from the right hand side of the boat, so depending on which way the current's going, I can change that to either side of the boat. This little bad boy is powered by an 18 horsepower Hatsue, little 2-stroke. This thing's practically brand new. I mean, it's clean as under the hood. And it's done about 25 hours of work, I reckon, based on what the guy was telling me that sold it to me and looking at how clean it is. Now I'll struggle to get this back. There we go. This thing's a little weapon. Pretty impressed with that. Pushes this boat along nicely. I hit 21 knots, 22 knots, full speed with me in it. About 40 k's. Then I've got a classic burley pot down the back. I'm going to install this inspection port just in the middle here for two reasons. One, I can then access the bilge pump and ensure that that's going to be serviceable, and if it ever breaks down I can replace it. And secondly, I can then look through the hull and see if there's any water on board to activate the bilge pump before it becomes a problem. Classic little storage box, just throw my tackle in it, just keeps it dry at the back of the boat out of the way. Scaler bag. This thing is a necessity when it comes to squidding. You would have seen that in a few videos of mine. Always using the scaler bag. Pick this little bad boy up. I think it's cost me $45, I think it was. So it's just got a knife holder in it. I've just drilled a hole in it to put my fish spike in, cut a little hole out, put my scissors in. Stores all your extra hooks and lures and whatnot. I've just got my fish ruler and a pair of pliers and sort of stuff in there. But it's a good little bait board. The only thing that I want to do to it is actually drill a hole in the bottom and run a hose out over the back, just so I don't have to constantly remove it to wash it out. I'll be able to just hose it straight out and let the water run out the back. Other than that, just the Berkeley rod holders. I want to fit probably 2 more up the front, because the white rod holders are up there now, same sort of thing. I don't like the angle that they keep your rod on, so I want to improve on that. Other than that, there's tons of fishing space for a little 14-foot tinny. The trailer's well set up. It's easy to get the boat on and off by yourself. It's got these guide rails at the back, so as soon as you put her on, she stays on. You can winch it up, no problem. And look, it's super cheap, super easy to launch, it's tough, it's durable, and she gets me out there fishing, that's for sure. So that's a little tinny in a nutshell. She's a little weapon. A few more little mods I want to do, and I'll probably bring on to them, but give you an update. But you guys will see plenty of action coming from this little bad boy in the future, that's for sure. So if you've got any questions or any recommendations on any mods, or even on a new sound or GPS, drop a comment, let us know, and I'll check them out. Alright guys, catch you next time. Alright, so I just want to show you why I want to get the 3-in-1 rod holders that are on a better angle that position your rods horizontally. You can imagine a bait sitting down the back of your boat here. When a fish grabs it and goes to run, they've got all that first tension of the rod before your drag even starts to let go. That's on a pretty light drag setting with the bait feeder, versus if your rod's horizontal, straight away there's a lot less resistance on the rod, and the fish are able to take a run. So especially snapper, which can be quite timid, I find I get a lot better hookup rates having my rods horizontal to the water, allowing that fish to take a bit of line and then the rod will load a bit more, or I can then grab the rod and set the hook properly, giving the fish a chance to take that bait and really inhale it. So it's something that I've discovered and noticed a lot, is that fishing your rods like this, so vertical in the air, there's so much more tension that the fish feel versus horizontally, and the rods are laid nicely. Plus, it also helps with clearing your lines of the back of the motor and burley buckets and that, etc. Get your rods away from the boat, keeps your baits positioned better. So that'll be the next mod. another couple of those birthday holders at the front will be sweet. Cheers guys.